Once Upon a Mattress is back on Broadway. The revival starring Sutton Foster, Michael Urie, and so many more. Sutton was already Broadway royalty. Now she's Princess Winnifred. It's the very role that made Carol Burnett famous way back in 1959. I caught up with Sutton Foster at the Skylark. We're going to jump right into Once Upon a Mattress because we know it's a revival. There's been some really funny ladies, and you are right up there with them. How's this been?
It's been amazing. It's really been a delight and a joy, and it's really fun to play such a wild, unhinged character. There's so much freedom.
Yeah.
The whole thing has felt so collaborative, an amazing cast. We all are giving each other ideas, cheering each other on. It's a room full of yes people, and it's been really, really great. And audiences have been amazingly responsive. And it's really fun to be silly. I have a friend that comes and see the show. They're like, "You're an idiot. You're ridiculous." And I'm like, I thank you. They're like, "You're so silly." And I was like, "Thank you."
It feels like it lets it all out.
It does. I
nice?
get to be completely free and do all those silly things that, nothing is contained.
Right.
So it's really been fun.
I have to imagine there's such freedom in that too, of not thinking, maybe you're not thinking ahead so much, or just get to do whatever you want to do with physically, with every part of that.
There's a little bit of, you have to have a little bit of mindfulness, because it is a very physical role.
Yeah.
There's a lot of physicality, a lot of physical comedy stuff, and I have a 3-minute sequence on 20 mattresses, and my father is still very concerned I'm going to fall off the bed. So I have to be very mindful about it, and there's a bit of choreography, but within all of it, there is a lot of freedom and a lot of play. And what I love too about the characters in the show too, it's Once Upon a Mattress is loosely based on The Princess and the Pea, and I play Princess Winnifred. You're not your typical princess who comes to town and hopes to marry the prince.
Yes.
And has to pass a test to prove that she's a real, genuine princess. And there's just a cast of crazy sort of characters. There's so much room for each individual actor, comedian to bring so much of themselves to it. And so it's just I keep thinking it's like a soup, and you have all these ingredients, and we just get to make a really cool stew every night. And it's really, really fun.
Were you a princess person? Did you want to be the princess, or?
Not really.
Me neither.
I know.
Me neither.
Not really. And one of the things I love about Princess Fred is she has this really great speech at the beginning of the show when we first meet her, and she talks about what it means to be a bride. And she's like, because I've heard all these amazing things about being a bride. And she goes off, and most of it's about she gets to do a lot of fun stuff, and she gets a pal, and she gets to, do everything together, and as opposed to I'm gonna meet my prince and live happily ever after or whatever, but it's more I get a friend and we get to do fun things. And that, I thought that was really great. I have a daughter who's 7 who's not a princess person at all.
Aww.
And I was like, what do we think about Princess Fred? Is this a princess we can get behind? And I've only got the half thumb. I haven't gotten the full thumb yet. It's the thumb test.
As you keep working on
keep
working on the role, maybe
you'll
get the full thumb.
Yeah.
I love that. That's fun though, right?
Yeah.
And didn't we always kind of want to do that? Not always. I think a lot of us didn't always want to have to be the perfect princess or the perfect bride or the perfect girl. And so I feel like this allows you to be.
Exactly.
And say it's okay.
Well, she just is. I think that's what's so fun about this character. She just is. She's free-spirited, she's excited, she's optimistic, she's adventurous, she's curious, she's different, and not knowing, it's not like she's walking into a town going, I'm different. She just is, So there's something so freeing about it. And she's very uncomplicated, which is also really fun.
That's so nice in this day and age, isn't it?
I know.
To be
I was
uncomplicated?
she's just sort of hopeful and wide-eyed and kind of curious and game.
herself.
And herself.
And I feel like there's that message for,
Yeah.
for all of us, but especially for the younger girls
Yes,
too,
exactly. That you can be embraced for just being who you are.
Carol Burnett originated this role.
Mm-hmm.
You met her.
I did.
What was that for you?
Surreal, overwhelming. I grew up watching the Carol Burnett show as a kid. I would watch the Carol Burnett show and the Muppet Show. In my mind, They were both on the same night. They were both, and I would watch them back to back. So I always say I'm like part Muppet, part Carol Burnett. She was just always has been a role model for me. So meeting her was surreal because I still feel like that kid sitting in the beanbag watching the Carol Burnett show. She held my hand and she gave me her blessing, you know, to play Fred, and this role that made her a star. It was really her big break was playing Winnifred in the original Once Upon a Mattress in 1959. And so she's, to be able, and the show, you know, means so much to her. Sure. And so for her to give me her blessing was a pretty big deal.
I'm wondering about the ensemble and working with everybody like that, because that is what that show is about. Yeah. You just have to just enjoy each night on stage. It's not that long, but it feels like you're playing, working and playing, but excited to let people walk out in a time where I think that a lot of people have a lot of stress and frustrated and can walk in there and have some joy. Yeah. And I think that's what we're all looking for, right?
Opening night, my 7-year-old daughter and my 77-year-old father were both at the show. Wow. And they both, you know, and I was like, did you both laugh? You know, right? I'm like, say yes. But they were both, it's a show that can span, you know, it's a show for everybody, which is also really, really nice to see. And it's for us too, and the cast, to hear the kids in the audience when the kids are there and giggling. Yep. Especially at some of the really silly things, that is just the best. It's the best. And you know, I keep thinking, oh my gosh, this could be some kids' like first Broadway show. Yeah. You know, and they're seeing this, like how cool that this is their introduction to Broadway. Yeah. Is really, really, I feel a great honor.